Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, climate resilience plan on course to be being approved by next year. Education authorities and ODM partner to beef up teachers' response to disaster at schools, and the DAPD makes a case to be included in government's Build Back Better plans. The details coming up.
Rudolf Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolf Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fence pipe. Check out Rudolf Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolf Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
First stop in the news, Flow customers in certain areas expected to enjoy what is called FTTH by the end of June. FTTH, or Fiber to Home, will provide customers with super-fast broadband internet and will be the foundation for Flow's IPTV product. Phase 1 of the FTTH product has started in Goodwill, Stock Farm and Kinfield. The rollout of the product across the island will continue in 2019 on a phased basis. According to a press release, Flow's General Manager Jeffrey Baptiste says customers' patience will be rewarded with the best suite of products to be launched over the next few months. Mr. Baptiste says customers have been patient and Flow is grateful for that. He says what the company can promise its customers is a television product superior to anything existing in the market. He promises a great lineup of channels in high definition, video on demand, and the ability to record, rewind, and fast-forward live television. Flow is currently testing the television product among employees, customers, and at various businesses and popular hangout spots to include Fort Young Hotel, JR's Bar, Greenhouse Bar and Grill, and One Pot. In more news now, Dominica has recorded increased progress in its pilot program on climate resilience. Andrea Louis has that story.
The pilot program on climate resilience, PPCR, is the monitoring and reporting model that focuses on sharing knowledge towards meeting the climate resilience objective. Monitoring and evaluation specialist with the DVRP, Nadette Langford, says there has been positive growth in the indicators under the PPCR, and the intention is to have an approved climate resilience plan by next year.
Between 2016 and 2017, calendar years, we have recorded, based on the initial scoring workshop, at least 13% increase in terms of progress for indicator 1, which measures your integration of climate resilience into national planning. And basically, we speak of whether you have plans, policies in place that are adopted and embed climate resilience strategies. In terms of co-indicator 2, which represents the evidence, we also recorded increase in progress performance in 2017. Unfortunately, the increase is hinged on post-Maria efforts and not really, which is more reactionary as opposed to what we do every day. To achieve resilience in national planning, it has to become a way of life. At the juncture we are in terms of the PPCR, on our 5th year in reporting, which will be next year, we would really like to report that we have moved from just having a draft plan to having an approved plan.
Minister for Climate Resilience Joseph Isaac says Dominica's goal of becoming the first climate resilient country in the world can only be achieved through commitment and partnership.
The PPCR assists governments in integrating climate resilience into strategic development planning across sectors and stakeholder groups. Second, it provides concessional and grant funding to put the plans into action and the pilot innovation or innovative approach to public and private sector solutions. Initiatives such as these are welcomed by small island states like Dominica, especially post-Hurricane Maria. Successful resilience building is based on 3 pillars. The first one is the institutional pillar, second, operational, and the third, the technical.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Climate Resilience says this consultation comes at a critical juncture in the country's history as Dominica continues to experience the effects of climate change.
This approach provides our country with the opportunity to establish baselines, determine benchmarks, and set realistic targets aimed at setting policy directives in the first instance, and identify priority interventions to mitigate climate change based on the data that we've collected. Important to this process is the participation of the public sector, and your presence here today confirms your commitment to championing the resilience building efforts in Dominica. And through all of our line ministries, our efforts in the next financial year are going to be geared towards streamlining or mainstreaming climate resilience activities throughout our work programs.
Wednesday's ceremony marked the 4th annual PPCR Monitoring and Reporting Validation Workshop. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
The Minister for Health is urging Dominicans to have a dental checkup at least once a year. Honorable Kenneth Daru, who was speaking on the occasion of Oral Health Week, says there are a number of basic practices one can undertake to protect their teeth and their overall health by extension.
While the Ministry of Health and Social Services is working tirelessly to assist you, I implore you to have regular dental examinations at least once a year. Brush your teeth at least twice daily, to include nighttime, with a fluoridated toothpaste. Floss daily. Reduce the frequency of sugar consumption, eat healthy foods, reduce alcohol consumption, and of course quit smoking. As the theme this year says, educating and advocating for optimum oral health. I encourage you to take the necessary measures to ensure that you maintain good oral hygiene practices in order to have good overall health.
A number of outreach and educational programs have been taking place here this week aimed at improving the public's oral health. Oral Health Week is observed here by the Ministry of Health each year. In more news now, government is collaborating with its international partners to set up a number of technical assistance centers in the 7 health districts. Prime Minister Skert says these technical assistance centers will help ensure that builders and contractors adhere to quality standards of construction.
We have a comprehensive housing strategy for our citizens because the intention of the government is to build about 5,000 homes for 5,000 families in this country. And we are well on our way to that. And every home we build is a tick. It's a tick and one less one we have to do. Between the Maho constituency, St. Joseph, Cassie Bruce, Grandfont, Montjoie River and Laplin Dillis, we have already signed contracts for 400 apartment units. Those sites have been cleared, and we shall see the pouring of concrete very soon in those communities.
You are watching Channel 5 News. The news will continue after this.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth or call 445-5001 275-5003 today.
When persons with TB sneeze or cough, healthy persons nearby breathe in the droplets and the bacteria can lodge in their lungs. People with weakened immune systems such as HIV/AIDS, alcohol and drug users, smokers, children, and the elderly are most susceptible. Persons with a cough should take precautions when in contact with persons in public places. Cover your mouth when sneezing and coughing. Visit your doctor or health center. You must complete your treatment. TB can be cured even with HIV. Be responsible. Help stop the spread of TB and HIV. Protect yourself and others.
Thank you for staying with us. Homeowners continue to have access to information centers at various locations around the country, providing guidance on how to build back roofs or build roofs back better in a more resilient way post-Hurricane Maria. People have been taking advantage of another opportunity this week on the ground floor of government headquarters. Engineers Without Borders has been working closely with the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, spearheading this post-Maria effort.
We want the roofs to go back on in a fashion that will withstand a serious hurricane. So the demonstration that we have today and the materials we're distributing are designed for 160-mile-an-hour wind, and that's going to hold up well in a Category 5 hurricane.
Do you get a little tired of the same questions from different people?
No, engineering's fun, and the more we can build well, the better off we are. The people that have their roofs on now, coming up to hurricane season, they're very, very happy. But there's still a lot of roofs on the island that need help, and there's still a lot of questions, same questions. Where do we get materials? How do we get them installed? Who do we go to make it right? And that's what we're here to help with. We're here at least through the end of June, maybe longer.
Okay, what happens after that? You turn the displays over to a local team, or what happens?
No, the displays will stay on the island. Physical planning has access to those displays, and they will certainly use those. We do expect UNDP to be around for a while, and the displays will be available for people to see and take advantage of. I think there's a lot of courage on this island, and people are very interested in the way to do things right, and we're hoping that our participation can help them do that.
And principals and teachers around the island are now better equipped to formulate and execute a school disaster plan.
That was the end product of a 2-day workshop of the Ministry of Education in collaboration with the Office of Disaster Management. Assistant Chief Education Officer Dr. Jeffrey Blaise says this forum helped bolster the emergency response plan of schools as there was no concrete framework in place before Hurricane Maria.
Schools had various degrees of preparation. So before Maria, some schools were doing drills, some were not. But it wasn't something that we gave the sort of attention that we needed to. And I will say right now we are focused on ensuring that schools are prepared because as we know nationally, we had challenges after Maria. And simple things as communication, for instance. What do you do in the event that you cannot contact the teachers, or that at the school level the principal cannot make contact with the teachers? There should be something in place that teachers know, okay, if we are not accessible, if the communication line is disrupted, what should I do as a teacher?
Blaise says outside of the school's disaster plan, the overall operational plan must also receive attention.
The disaster plan is one thing, but having a school emergency operation plan is very important because the operational plan is really going to what I call give the teeth to the disaster plan. So it will say what are the challenges, in the event that something happens, who is responsible. So every detail in the plan is going to be mapped out with responsible persons so that everybody is fully aware of what is happening in the event of an emergency. One of the challenges that we have was in securing school records, for instance. We know that you may have various degrees of vulnerability and you cannot foretell the impact of a disaster. But certainly if you can secure certain things that are imperatives for an organization, it's important that you do so as leadership.
This school's disaster plan workshop falls in line with the country's national disaster management plan.
That is something we've been trying to get the Ministry of Education to get involved with for quite a while. I think it may have taken Hurricane Maria to bring it on board, which is still good. We've trained several teachers in the whole, the various aspects of developing plan development and how to organize the situations at school. My role was really to go through the incident command system with them, which is a response management system that assists in the speedy, effective and efficient management of a crisis should you have one.
Shillingford says it is imperative that all stakeholders have such workshops to develop disaster response plans for future events.
Well, everybody should have a plan. I mean, we've been advocating even family plans, that right in your home you should have a plan. So institutions and government departments, divisions, ministries, private sector, NGOs, everybody should have his or her plan, or its plan if it's an organization, So whenever something happens, you're not then just scratching your head.
The hierarchy of the DAPD has called for government to consider the access troubles of people living with disabilities on its quest to build back better. The Dominica Association of People Living with Disabilities hosted its 35th AGM on Wednesday with the new Minister for Social Services, Dr. Kenneth Daru, and Minister for Family and Gender Affairs, Catherine Daniel, in attendance. DAPD's President, Irma Raymond Joseph, called their attention to the outstanding legislation of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Living with Disabilities.
The government was able to ratify it, but, honorable ministers, I am asking, when will this become a reality? So when I see developments taking place, my concerns for accessibility will be respected. And I speak to the recent renovation of the sidewalk around the government building, where I mentioned to someone I believe was in charge about breaking down the edges so a wheelchair user can independently access it. I was told by the gentleman, if you want your ramp, come and put it yourself. And as a matter of fact, my lady, if you know what's good for you, just come out around people. Well, if you know me, I took the opportunity to educate them. And I informed them that when we ask for something, we are asking it on behalf of everyone. Because you never know when your family might become a wheelchair user.
The DAPD president has asked Cabinet to remember people with disabilities when they plan infrastructure projects.
Please, parliamentarians, honorable ministers here today, think about it. When you sit in Cabinet and you talk about building better, think about accessibility for all. While accessibility is Article 9 in the Convention, it talks about building roads, transportation buildings, and other indoor and outdoor facilities, including schools, housing, medical facility, and workplaces. Mr. Developer, if you are hearing, I know you are listening. Consider persons with disabilities.
And in related news, Social Services Minister Dr. Kenneth Daru is expecting a list of the DAPD's concerns and challenges for action under his watch. Daru says he accepted the portfolio of social services wholeheartedly to work with groups with the aim of contributing to the well-being of all citizens.
Sitting at the head table whispering to Mrs. Murphy, I would have asked her to put together a list of the challenges being faced by the association. Because as a new minister, I really would like to know and to group them into immediate, those challenges that we can deal with immediately, medium term, and long term. And I look forward to this list, Mr. Executive Director and the President. I would have already thrown a few at her. I know the special challenges that you face during disasters, before, during, and after disasters, issues of housing, accessibility, domestic preparations for hurricanes, education, among others.
Daru has committed to meeting with DAPD and similar organizations in the coming weeks.
Throughout the course of the next few weeks, myself together with other senior staff of the ministry will be meeting with your organization and many others to hear from you in a more personalized setting and to discuss how your government can assist further in achieving your goals and objectives. Let me again reassure you of this government's commitment to supporting your organization and indeed all other like-minded and purpose ones. I was taken aback and even downright disgusted to listen to your experience as it pertains to the sidewalk being constructed next to the government headquarters. No one, and I mean no one, especially one with an obvious disability, should have been subjected to such level of ignorance and disgust. And trust me, myself together with the minister of, my colleague minister have taken note of this and we will address it.
To end the news, we take a look again at the headlines. Climate resilience plan on course to being approved by next year. Education authorities and the ODM partner to beef up teachers' response to disasters in schools. And the DAPD makes a case to be included in government's Build Back Better plans. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. We invite you to join us tomorrow.